What is up, Rockstars? We are back with Mel. We're talking all things health, wellness, fitness, mindset, discipline. Mel, how you doing?
I am terrific, brother. How are you? So great to see you always. What's going on?
Doing very well, doing very well. Trying a new thing, not coffee, having tea for today. It's a good
The
time. It's a good time.
yeah, that botanical herbal thing that's been around for like 9,000 years. That's awesome. Love it. Right.
Brand new up straight off
Oh,
the shelf.
I love tea myself, you know? Yeah, it's all good, man. It's all good. So, anyway, it's been a terrific day so far, man. Is yours off to a good start aside from your tea?
Yes, yes. It's getting into winter in this part of the planet, so we're looking forward to ski season in Australia soon. So
I'm
that'll
gonna
be
have to
fun.
I'm gonna have to relate to that somehow by going there to see what that's like. Because when you say winter, it's like I can't connect winter to Australia. I don't know
Yeah.
why. I'm sure I'll experience it at some point. But hey, it's 90 fucking hot balls here, right, in Sacramento right now, and it's great considering. Well, no, 2 weeks ago I was in 85-degree Maui weather with a beautiful breeze. But hey, it's all good, man. So
So tell us about this little fasting journey that you've just started.
yeah. So yeah, right. So I'm always ever pushing myself to do something better, right? And it's a fine line, between being obsessive and not ever being satisfied. You got to be able to live both, right? And just also accepting things as they are. Well, like all of us, our relationship with food is a story in our head. And for the last 40 years of bodybuilding and training and athletic training and all that, I have always lived that you gotta start your day with a good balanced meal, because you don't want to be in negative nitrogen balance. Because if the last protein meal you had was at 6 or 7 o'clock the night before, and you don't eat until 11 or 12, now you're on an 18-hour, deficit instead of 12. All right, I kind of bought it. And at the time, dude, I was lifting heavier, I was bigger, thicker. It probably made sense, right? But now, as an athlete, and my all of my fitness goals are performance driven, they're not aesthetic driven. I just kind of decided, after watching a YouTube video, fucking awesome things you see on the internet, there was a video that said, don't ever eat early in the morning. I'm like, oh, fuck. Okay. I've never done intermittent fasting. No, I don't even know anything about it. Watched the 15-minute video. It made sense. So I said, okay. Starting yesterday, I decided not to skip my 7, 8 a.m. breakfast before I take off to the office. And I'll just fucking won't eat till 11 o'clock, 11:30. I'm
Yeah.
2 days into it. So from 11:30 until 8 o'clock at night, that's my window to eat. And I actually discovered two things. Number one, three things. I felt, I still felt fine all morning up until 11. I felt my energy actually getting better. I felt my midsection actually staying tighter and feeling good, and not feeling like it's bloated and having to work through digestion. Um, I felt like I didn't need to eat. I just kept drinking water, right?
Mhm.
Which I thought was an advantage because of hydration. And I felt like I didn't have to eat as much.
Mm.
It's a major thing. And I fucking love to eat, dude. And I was like, hey, wait a minute. I don't feel like I'm chasing a meal, like, oh, my blood sugar level's dropping. Again, in your head, whatever you think you're feeling, it's reinforcing the story, right? So it's been terrific. And I'm going to keep doing it and make adjustments to it, indefinitely. And I'd love to see what kind of results I get over the 30, 60, 90-day period. There you go.
Yeah, it's quite funny that you mentioned it because I'm like I've been doing some form of intermittent fasting for like many years.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those things that uh like as you mentioned from like a marketing perspective, when you grow up and you're younger, like it's just pounded into you. You have to eat breakfast, you have to have breakfast is the most important meal of the day.
Mm-hmm.
This is how you're supposed to start out your life and all this kind of stuff and get ready for the day. And it's quite funny that if you look at like the people that stand to benefit the most from breakfast are massive corporations like Kellogg's.
Mm.
um, you got your Nutri-Grains, you got your Weetabix, you got your Fruity Loops, you've got all these core, you know, basically dessert breakfasts that are marketed to children. And like, parents, they might barely get like a piece of toast or a tea or a coffee in the morning, but the kids are like, I need Fruity Loops, I need, the cereal, the big cereal thing. And it actually doesn't really matter because, like, as you said around about science, like, whether you're eating at night, whether you're eating in the morning, whether you're eating in the middle of the day, I mean, your body doesn't really have a reference for you have to eat right now. Like, you think back to thousands of years ago, people weren't getting up and smashing a bowl of Fruity Loops out in the wilderness and shit. And they probably only did eat one meal a day. Like, they get up, all right, the tribe's up, everyone's up. What do we got to do? Number one goal, we got to get food. And it might take them the entire day to kill something to bring it back so
Mm-hmm.
everyone can eat.
Fuck, can you imagine that, dude? You fucking wake up, God knows what fucking time, and you're not going to eat until you hunt some shit down. Holy fuck.
It's good living. That's good living.
We are a bunch of spoiled fucks, right? We get up. We don't even have to get out of the fucking car. We can drive through someplace and get breakfast, get a coffee, right?
Yeah, you don't have to
You know what I
leave your
mean?
chair.
You don't have to do shit. Yeah, Uber fucking food. They'll deliver the shit to you. You don't have to do anything.
That's right. Yeah, it's like,
All right. I won't do that. I'm sorry. No, won't do it.
21st century man. If you've got enough energy to get your phone out with your thumb and press the button, we'll basically put food inside your mouth.
Dude, yesterday, yeah, I was at my office yesterday, right? This fucking dude comes walking up. It must have been 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So that's walking up and going, he's going the wrong place. I don't know who the fuck this dude is. He comes walking up and he's got this bag and he goes, yeah, I got your order, man. I'm all, no, you don't. He's all, are you Bonobos? I'll go, next door. I go, okay, cool. And he walked by on his shirt on the back. It said Uber Eats.
Yes.
And this motherfucker should be on our program. He is, God bless him, just this chunky ass, fucking scruffy looking dude. God knows how long it took him to bring that fucking food over. God knows how long it's been sitting in his car. I'd rather, when I order takeout or takeaway, depending on what country you're in, I always choose that I'm going to go pick the shit up. I'm not going to go wait. So if it's Chinese food or pizza, those are the only two things. Well, yeah, the only two things that I ever called to fucking pick up, right? And it's, I was like, no, I am not that fucking lazy. And which is what inspired my Facebook Live post this morning in our private Facebook group for Chaos Transformation, which read "Step it up," literally, right? So I had this. As a calendar guy, I like to kind of forecast what's going to happen, and I adjust from day to day. And I had it laid out this morning that I was going to get up and do a 45-minute stationary bike ride, stretch out, and come to the office. Right? I'm playing ball tonight. Got me out in left field. It's fucking 900 degrees out there, and I wanted to make sure my legs were fresh because I was going to work out in the afternoon and all that fucking story bullshit. And I woke up and I'm like, you're a pussy. What is a stationary bike horseshit? Well, I was like, what? Where is that coming from, right? And then it was just ping pong match in my head. You don't need a fucking stationary bike. You're fine. Go for a walk. Get out in nature. It's awesome. You feel awesome every time you walk. The other side of me said, no. You're going to be running your ass later. Just ride a stationary bike. It's non-impact. I go through this whole scientific backing reason, right?
Of course.
Right, of course, right?
Yeah.
Because it was methodical, right? And then finally I go, fuck's sake, just if you don't answer the calling and you do what you originally planned, which you know is weaker, what are you going to do? You sit there, and when you're done with it, there's no sense of accomplishment. There's like, if it follows you all day long, like, you should have fucking did it. You should have fucking did it, right? Mm-hmm. Face your fears, run towards your fears, right? Okay, fine. So I decide, go for a walk. I traded in a 30-minute power walk, full contact on the ground, moving, got a fucking nice YouTube video going on in my head. And I decided to do a Facebook Live on it because not only should you always take advantage of things to step it up further, and this time it was walking for the steps, right? there are so many other areas of your life where complacency can easily creep in, even
Mm.
in the best moments of your life, right? For those of you who are on our program right now, remember the day that you signed up with us. Every day prior to that, it wasn't really that great. You decide to sign up with us, you're 5 weeks into it, 20 weeks into it, whatever, and you're going awesome, right? There's some peaks and valleys. Okay, I get that. But somewhere in that journey, you could have said to yourself, I'm not going to do a treadmill walk. I'm going to go for a run. I'm not going to, I'm going to go up in weight a little bit, or I'm going to, whatever the case may be, push yourself a little bit harder to break that complacency plateau, that complacency kind of behavior, because it
Mm.
happens to the best of us, right? It's an ongoing narrative to constantly be improving. Even though you already have a laid out solution that's going to make you better than you ever were before, in that space, please still make sure that you're never satisfied. You're never satisfied. If you're doing
Mm.
something great, you're meal prepping, awesome, that's great. This is awesome, that's awesome. There's always something in there that you could be doing better, right?
I like to call it like when I first heard of this concept, it frightened the shit out of me. It scared the living daylights out of me because it's like a thief in the night. It You don't see it coming. It arrives, months and weeks go by, and maybe if you're lucky, you can wake up and be like, oh, shit. And what it's called the concept of poison drips. Have you ever heard of this before?
No, tell me more. I want to learn this.
A poison drip is something so small and so minute that it's almost unrecognizable. But over time, it destroys whatever you're trying to do.
Oh,
Example. Example. Um, every night in the winter, I'll have, I'll treat myself to say like a hot chocolate or some shit like that, right? And then you go, it's a little bit of liquid in a cup, and it's got some chocolate in it, and it's cold as fuck, and it can't do nothing wrong. It's harmless, right? If you have one of those fucking things for 3 months over winter, and you sit there at the end of winter and you go, all right, one of those is 300 calories. 300, that's 21 a week. 21 times 1200, you're looking at like 4 or 5 weeks of just, that's nearly 10 days worth of food consumption that you've added on, 10 days worth, by having a hot chocolate just for that, evening little comfort thing, right? Something like, I'm going to go and use the stationary bike. I'm not going to go run out on the, track or go for a jog outside. 1 or 2 times, stationary bike's good. Push that out over 6 months. If you've done nothing other than the stationary bike and you go try and even think about running outside, you might as well just be trying to put a needle in your eyeball. It's just too difficult. It's tiny little things that creep into your life. Doesn't even have to be fitness or food. It can be accepting a outcome that's happening. Oh, that's okay. This is all right. This is fine. It's a tiny little drip of poison, and it robs you of whatever the hell you're trying to get.
that's fascinating because it becomes a new best practice. That negative habit becomes a new best practice, which in turn resets your standard lower. Oh, fuck, that's horrible. As you were describing that, I'm thinking of two significant things in my life that I do where you absolve yourself. It's all absolution. You absolve yourself. Oh, it's harmless. The
Mm.
mere fact that you just convince yourself that it's harmless means it's fucking harmful.
Yeah.
It is detrimental to the actual outcome or the direction that you're going towards.
Yeah.
And what is all success in life? It's compound interest, right? It's all a snowball. It's all a snowball. A snowball effect of positive habits in small increments nets you huge gains. A snowball in the opposite direction nets you huge losses. There's just
Yeah.
no way around it. It's just a fact, right?
It's
There's
like
just no way around it.
the biggest way that this is very easy and obvious for people to realize is something like relationships.
Mm.
And like I know that there's guys that, there's a few guys that like maybe sweets or chocolate or chips or whatever the hell it is. But I don't know many single guys that like that stuff to the level that it's consumed in like a relationship. It's always it's like females and chocolate, they go hand in hand.
Mm.
There's never usually a guy by himself out in the woods where he's like, fuck yeah, I love dairy milk. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would have to agree. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
you're
always
far more masculine. Yeah,
it's the little snacks that predominantly we're gonna get blasted for this fucking podcast.
I
It's
don't give a shit.
it's predominantly like, it comes from it's a female trait to have the snacks, the little party packs. Guys don't do that. Guys' version of that is fucking stuff that's probably way worse, like getting railed and falling into AA or something, some shit like that.
Right.
But little things like that will go, you know what, we'll participate in this, or we'll participate in this activity with our friends or something, even though we know that it's derailing our shit.
As you're describing that, it just reminded me of this YouTube video that there are three people: Kevin Hart, Chris Rock, and Jerry Seinfeld. And Chris Rock is the first one on, and he says, you were doing fucking great before you met her, and then you fucking met her, and you start fucking forgiving shit because you started fucking her. That's why, right? So in lieu of the loss of sex, a man will absolutely trade in his best habits that he had prior for the sex. And yes, I won't even hold you accountable for this. I'll take onus of it. If we get blasted for this fucking podcast, that's because whoever's blasting us and is upset, it's true for them.
It's
That's
true.
why.
Yeah, that's what it is.
That's why. So fuck you guys if you're pissed off. Make a change, right? I don't believe in, especially at this level of your life. I'm 57. I'm knocking on the door at 57. I have a clear understanding of the future partner that I have. And that's going to be, look, I'm an independent person. You're an independent person. No, I'm not going to fucking destroy all of my lifestyle habits just to be with you. We have to share the same. I can't be with someone who doesn't exercise. I actually would love to be with a woman who loves to work out. We don't have to work out all the time, but man, it'd be great. Once in a while, once a week, we're in the gym together, all that stuff. She doesn't have to be a fucking fitness model. She doesn't have to be any of that. Just the fact that she gives a shit about her health. I don't want to be with someone who just isn't anywhere near that destination.
Yep.
And it's an interesting dynamic where men, they give up their masculinity and they give up all these, maybe masculinity is a hard thing to say, but they just give up all the positive things that they know they should use and do, and the habits that they used to do, and how many times they fucking tell you, I started seeing her and, we started hanging out more and blah, blah, blah. Story. It's a fucking story.
Mm.
Kerwin Ray will blow your ass out over that story. It's horseshit. Right?
Yep.
So, there you go.
So yeah, very, very interesting content. Very interesting.
It's a reality far more than a concept. And again, you cannot control how you feel, and you can choose how to act. So that right there wipes out any shit. You always have the opportunity to make a decision. That's why they invented the pause button. Right? That's why they invented the pause button. Stop, play, pause. right?
So if someone's listening to this and they're like, "Holy shit, this is too close to home," I'm going to give you a very easy way to handle all of this, and you're not going to believe it because you're going to say that's a bunch of bullshit. But the best way to solve or be able to tackle this stuff, if you think it's like the Everest of Everest, like the poison drips that you've got in things like work, family, fitness, relationships, um, situations that you've fallen into that you know that are a poison drip, that are just so small and minute, but you look back over the last 5 years and you're like, oh shit, that's not a good time. And if I was thinking straight, I would have probably made a different decision. It's very, very hard to get the willpower and the drive to change any of these things when you're not hydrated. If you're trying to make
Mm,
decisions, if you're trying to use willpower and discipline and just sheer force and drive to tackle things like a sugar addiction, a fast food addiction, a soft drink addiction, anything like that. I was chatting to this guy yesterday. He's like, he came onto the program and he's like, I have 2 liters of Coke a day, 2 liters every day, every
holy
day.
fuck.
He's like, I've weaned off Coke, but I've actually switched to iced tea, and I didn't have the heart to tell him that's just no better. And I'm like, well, at least, at
Yeah,
least, at least you've tried to do something. And I said, dude, you know what?
right.
All your problems would go away if you got up in the morning and you had like 1.5 liters of water, or like nearly a whole gallon of water. Just scull it as soon as you walk out of bed, because the faster you can get hydrated, then the only thing that hydration does for people with addictions or poison drips in their life, it gives you 5 seconds extra before you actually make a decision. So instead of going, oh, I feel like, if your addiction's Coca-Cola, oh, I feel like having Coca-Cola, and now it's already in my mouth and I'm already halfway through a bottle. Hydration lets you have the thought, and then it gives you 5 seconds. It's like a handbrake on life, and it says, hey, do you really want to do it? Or do you want to just,
Mm-hmm.
do you want to not? And that's the missing link for most people, is hydration. It gives you that 5 seconds to actually choose and decide, actually, you know what? I'm good. How the hell am I good? All for weeks and weeks, I haven't been good. Why am I good now? And it's because you've got enough water in your body.
I would have to wholeheartedly agree, because your brain is, oh hell, a majority of your body is water anyway, right? And when you're taking in caffeine, so the guy switched from Coke, soda, right, to iced tea. Awesome, A for effort, right? I'll give him that.
Yeah, exactly.
From a digestive standpoint, it's probably better, right? However, if the iced tea has sugar, then it's not any better, right? However, both are diuretics, which means it extracts water from your body. So now your adrenal glands are having to work overtime. And the more you drink caffeine, your adrenal glands get more and more exhausted, which means
Mm.
you got to drink more and more Coke to even make it effective, right? Which is a law of diminishing returns, right? So if that person truly weaned themselves off, they may go through a period of headaches. And I went through this one time where I was like, what is going on with me? And I realized that I was getting away from soda. We're talking 30 years ago. And I had these splitting headaches. I was like, what the hell's wrong with me? And my friend said, well, what did you change in your lifestyle lately? I said, well, I just got rid of soda. He said, you got rid of it? She goes, yeah, I just removed it. She goes, cold turkey? I said, yeah. She goes, big mistake. Here, have a can of soda. I was having maybe 2 or 3 a day, and I went
Mm.
cold turkey, gone. And over the next 3 days, I was like, oh my God, my head's pounding. Of
Yeah.
course, right? It's the diuretic, is taking an effect, and there was a negative reaction. So any of you out there that's going to use tea, if you're going to just use straight herbal tea with just water without any sweetener to it, okay, cool. But I got to ask you, when are you drinking it? Why are you drinking it? Is it for relaxation, like chamomile, which is non-caffeine, or are you drinking, any other black pico tea or anything like that that has some caffeine to it, that's a stimulant? Again, the diuretic properties in it aren't helping your body, because if you're looking for long-range fitness And a great fitness program should curb your appetite the right way, right? And give you longer range energy, which is what I'm feeling from this new kind of body, this new time set I have with eating. So yeah, the water is the holy grail of all nutrients. It's a transporter. It moves things along. If you're not hydrated, guess what? Your intestinal area is working really hard. I mean, there's just a myriad of things that are going to go wrong. You're not producing any mucus to drain your sinuses. I mean, it's hard. So yeah, you should hydrate for sure.
Absolutely. Well, Mel, this has been a beautiful podcast as always.
Yeah, it has been. Guys, look, we'd rather tell you and shoot it to you straight and apologize later. And the thing about it is, for me personally, anytime I make a statement, it's not to demean anyone. It is absolutely not to make myself feel better. I will always do my best to back it up with some level of experience or witnessing or observation of something, and then testing it out myself. And any statement that I make or any perspective that I offer or anything is always an invitation to a conversation. It's not law. It's not none of that. There are very few things that a human being can come up with now in today's age that's really original thought. Think about it. Everything is a regurgitated, agreeable, non-agreeable situation, right? So thank you all for listening to this, and we would love your comments. We would love, hell, just a fuck you. You don't know what you're talking about. Great. Tell me something I don't know. I don't fucking know everything, right? So anyway, yeah, always awesome to talk to you, brother.
Till next week, brother.
Yes, sir. We'll see you then. Take care.